What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Viall Files. Happy Monday. I'm trying to just creep Rochelle out every time I say.
Your voice gets lower and lower.
Hello. It's
Viall.
I don't know. It's fun. I hope you guys are having a great day so far. Start your day. I don't know how eager you are listening to this episode, but we appreciate you tuning in.
Yeah.
Rochelle, you told me we have some updates from some of our callers.
Well, we've been getting so many emails from people being like, what is happening with these people? I need to know.
And we have some updates.
And some people have, emailed in, and so it's kind of fun.
Well, let's get to it. But before we do, I need to tell you about ButcherBox.
It's amazing.
Well, I like meat.
You're a meat eater.
I'm a meat eater. I am. There's really no meat I can't get down with.
Yeah. It's a healthy way to eat. Protein.
It can be. I like to get a lot of health, everything in moderation. But when it comes to meat, I'm a stickler for quality of meat.
Exactly.
Honestly, if you're going to cook a steak or any type of meat, a pork chop, like the quality of meat really makes a difference.
And it's hard to find 100% grass-fed beef.
It's really hard to find.
Yes.
I mean, like most grocery stores don't have the meat that I want.
Exactly.
Some do, and it's harder to find. Well, ButcherBox, they do.
Send it straight to your
door.
door.
Send it straight to your door. It's great. It's all the meat is free of antibiotics and added hormones. We love that. Each box has 9 to 11 pounds of meat, enough for 24 individuals.
Plus, if you're cooking your Thanksgiving meal this year, ButcherBox can send you that turkey.
And what is that turkey not going to have? Antibiotics and hormones.
It's going to be tasty.
It's amazing. And I like, again, the grass fed, I'm a huge advocate of that.
What is some stuff that you've made?
Well, I mean, I'm a traditional kind of meat and potatoes guy when it comes to meat. So I like a pork chop. I love to brine a good pork chop. It's really easy for those people out there. You can kind of brine a pork chop with anything.
Yeah.
Garlic, couple spices. You boil some water. You put the spices in. You crush some garlic. You boil it really quick, and then you cool off and you put the pork chop in a Tupperware and you put it in your fridge in the morning. And when you're done, it's like marinated. And then you like put it on. And then you put it on a stove on a high pan and you sear the outside for 2 minutes apiece and you put it in the oven for like 10. Boom. A juicy, delicious pork chop.
Wow, listeners, you just got a nice little recipe right there.
And then I put like a little vegetable and maybe a starch. But sometimes I often like don't have the potato. When I say meat and potatoes and vegetables, but now it's just kind of whatever. But anyway, that's what I love. And ButcherBox has made it a lot easier because now I don't have to go to the grocery store and get the meat. And then like it's easier just to buy fresh veggies for the week.
Yeah. With
Thanksgiving right around the corner, right now is the perfect time to give ButcherBox a try. Sign up today and get a free turkey plus $20 off your first box.
What?
Just go to butcherbox.com/VIALL or enter promo code Viall at checkout. That's butcherbox.com/VIALL or enter promo code Viall at checkout for a free turkey and $20 off your first box. Oh my God.
Your Thanksgiving meal
solved. Free turkey.
That's a good
Turkeys
deal.
aren't cheap. That's value.
I know.
Rochelle?
Yes.
Give us some updates.
Okay, modern fertility. That's what we're talking about, people. I am anxiously waiting on the edge of my seat for my fertility results. They're still processing them. But they sent me this kit. I plucked my finger. I don't know if plucked is the right word. Poked. They gave me really easy instructions. Put it on this piece of paper.
I'm so interested in finding out.
I know. Send it in. And they're going to help me gain more knowledge about my fertility. I'm 33. It is something I'm thinking about. I am thinking about maybe freezing my eggs or just like getting a plan together so I don't feel so overwhelmed by the idea of it.
No.
And Modern Fertility, they also provide a great community of people. If you have questions, if you're struggling, all the answers are there. And it's just so much more affordable than a doctor's office.
Yeah. What? You get the same information for just $159. How much does it usually cost?
Thousands. Yeah.
Unbelievable. Well, listen, I wish they had something like this for guys, but they have it for women, and the great unknown doesn't have to be the unknown anymore. You can get that information. And so right now, Modern Fertility is offering our listeners $20 off the test when you go to modernfertility.com/VIALL. That's $20 off your fertility test when you go to modernfertility.com/Viall. modernfertility.com/VIALL.
Okay, you ready for some updates?
I am ready for some updates. How are we doing? I'm waiting for that update. It's like, Nick,
Okay.
You ruined my life.
No. You remember that woman who thought she was being groomed for a throuple?
Yeah.
She met the guy and he was like being flirty, and then all of a sudden
the wife shows up.
Yeah,
and she's like, what's going on?
Yes. So we had some listeners thought maybe they were trying to recruit her for a multi-level marketing scheme, which I was like, oh, maybe that is true. But it turns out she met up with the guy a couple more times at the dog park. And the second time he started getting into his marital problems. So she thinks that's where the weird energy comes from, that maybe he was, trying to get out there with other women, and that's why he wasn't mentioning the wife and whatnot.
I wonder if the marital problems might come from the fact that he's showing up to dog parks without his wedding ring and talking to other women.
Exactly. And but no throuple, at least.
No throuple. I think she should, if she's listening, I think we got our answer. You should probably shut it down at this point.
Yeah, she said she hasn't seen him in a couple weeks and she's just fine with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't totally believe her. She said that when she called. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, everyone.
I feel like I have my answer. I'm not going to see him. And then she's met him twice.
Right. Yeah.
She is, and I get it. She's intrigued. It's fun. It's exciting. She's trying to figure it out. It's something to do. It's like basically playing a game.
Yeah.
It's a board game. But like now that she has her answer, I think she should walk away. She thinks he's hot, right? She's attracted to him.
Yeah.
And not her problem, but it's the problem. I don't believe her when she says she's fine.
Everyone always says they're fine.
I'm fine. I don't care if I see him again. I'm going to let him inside me.
That is a funny pattern that we're seeing. Okay, so Tori, so we had the woman call in who said that she liked the guy, but he was a bad kisser, and he wasn't really listening to her when she said she didn't want tongue.
Never got her off.
Okay, so she brought it up very kindly and in a way she thought he would be receptive to. He got overly defensive and was like super shocked. Then he started being incredibly rude and condescending. See, I told you guys get like this.
Yeah, and we said that he could do that.
Yes. It proved a theory / vibe that I had where he thinks he's God's gift to women, thinks he's amazing and needs no improvement in any areas of life.
Why he's not good at doing it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So she ended things with him.
Great.
I kind of, yeah.
That's a positive outcome.
Same thing happened with my guy when I he got so mad.
I mean, that's probably going to happen. But think about it. Like if you're getting a guy who's like in his late to mid, late 20s, early 30s, and he hasn't figured it out yet.
Yeah.
It might be one, no one ever told him, but two, he hasn't tried to get better because he thought he's awesome. And if he thinks he's awesome, he probably has an ego about it.
Right.
Here's my guess is that you and her still did a good thing because now he's at least heard it.
Right.
And even if he got defensive and he got condescending, it's all probably coming from a place of insecurity and his ego lashing out.
Yeah.
And it's good that she ended it, but now she's planted that seed and he might like put it all on her and blame him, but at least he's heard it. And she still is given an opportunity to someday get better. I'm not making excuses for him for like being rude and condescending.
Yeah.
But that's almost inevitable for him to say that. But like, I think now he at least has heard it.
Right. And that maybe it's working its way.
Right. Now he's going to at least wonder, and maybe the next person you kiss, he might be like, he might have gone back and like had the guts to like follow up with an ex that he's friends with and be like, can you just let me, was I not good? I still think it's a good thing. She probably helped him and she can feel good about not finding a guy that gets her off.
Yeah. Listeners, you are in for a treat for this episode. This is one of my favorites.
Is it?
Yeah. I thought it was fun.
I quite liked it.
Yeah.
I mean, it was fun.
We had some good laughs.
It was a good laugh. She has a good time. Again, as always, we really appreciate you guys listening and your questions. Don't forget to send in your questions. Ask Nick at castwithakmedia.com.
Also, we're still far away from our $5,000 goal for cystic fibrosis, helping to cure it.
And save Rochelle's sister's life.
Save my sister's life, please.
I mean,
yeah, it's true.
No, she could die. Without, we're all someday going to die, but it's on you guys to get to the science out there. And again, that's the thing. Truthfully, all jokes aside, they've done amazing things with research and drastically increasing the life expectancy of people with cystic fibrosis. And it's through the research and through the things that they've done. And that comes only with your the money people donate so they can do that. So
or buy tickets to come hang out with Nick, and Lauren Zima's hosting the event.
Where can they donate?
I'll put the link in the in the show notes.
On the show notes. All right. Well, we have a great episode for you. So strap on your seatbelt. Get ready. It's going to be wild.
BetterHelp. Nick's giving great advice, but sometimes you need help.
I mean, we're not professionals. I mean, let's be real here.
100% not professionals.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you just what you're doing wrong. I mean, someone else can tell you why. I mean, I kind of tell you why, but I still don't know if it's right.
Yeah.
I'm not a professional.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, we think this is great. Why? Because we encourage people doing the utmost to improve their mental health. And sometimes we can't do it on our own. Sometimes we need professionals. And sometimes that fear of finding one and going out there.
Especially when you're feeling down, it's like feels extra hard.
And then you you have to and it's just like you may have to make an appointment. Then you have to get in your car. You have to go there. And the first time you do that, all of those steps feel like a big deal. And now you can do them in the comfort of your home. You can do it by simply downloading an app.
And just so you know, financial aid is available for those who qualify. So that is an option.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Well, again, best of all, it's truly affordable. As Rochelle said, we even have financial aid for those who qualify. The Viall File listeners get 10% off your first month with discount code VIALL. So why not get started today?
Yeah.
If you've ever wondered about getting professional help with your mental health,
self-esteem,
never been easier.
Family conflicts.
Go to betterhelp.com/VIALL. Simply fill out a questionnaire to help them assess your needs and get matched with a counselor you'll love. That's betterhelp.com/VIALL.
Question time with Nick. Let's ask Nick your sexy questions.
How's it going?
Good. It's going great.
Great. And what's your name?
My name is Katie, and I'm 28.
Katie, 28. Katie, 28. How can we help you?
Well, I've been married for 3 years, and or I was married for 3 years, and my husband and I separated in April. And then I went ahead and decided to file for divorce. My divorce is actually final tomorrow, fun fact. And anyways, I was 22 when we started dating, so it's been a while since I've been out there in the dating world. And I was a virgin when we got married. So he was the only person I was expecting to be with in that way. So yeah, I would love your tips and advice on jumping back out there.
I mean, are you just looking for general how-tos, or have you been dating? Well, she has kind of an
interesting backstory that you included in the email that you kind of left out here. I don't know if you want.
Rochelle keeps our callers on her tongue.
I told you to be short, but
short but detailed. That's fine.
Juicy. It's too juicy to leave out.
Yeah, Rochelle's the police. She keeps our callers accountable. She's like, that's not what you email. It's bullshit. I want more. No, please give us the interesting background of why.
Okay.
Because there's a bunch of stuff on the internet of how to, but what's really going on here?
Right. So the juicy side of this is that my husband and I are both pastors, and we both grew up in a pastor's families. And he just had a lot of toxic problems, some addiction problems, which kind of led to some verbal, emotional abuse stuff. He wasn't really willing to admit that he had the problems he had. And kind of at the end of the day, it became an integrity thing for me. I can't, knowing what your life looks like behind the scenes, I can't look people in the face and be like, hey, this guy's your pastor.
Is he still a pastor?
That's kind of the backstory on that. In my email, I was don't worry, I still love Jesus. I still, all that stuff. It didn't jade me, but I think my biggest fear was it hurting people in the church. Even probably I stayed longer than I should have because of that fact. I've seen what church hurt does to people, and I didn't want to be a source of any of that for anyone.
Yeah, I can only imagine. So you are a pastor, and you were both pastors.
Right. Yeah. We both, we worked for his parents, who are the lead pastors of the church. And I was the youth pastor. And then when I decided to file, it kind of also came with an understanding that I would resign my position.
No.
So
that's tough.
Yeah. So,
I mean, good for you for following your heart.
Yeah.
yeah, so that happened. But so I'm kind of like trying to figure out what I'm going to do next. I did get a severance, which was really nice. So I'm just trying to figure out a lot of my
So
life
you're
right now. But
currently unemployed and single.
Wow.
yeah.
Okay.
Is he still a pastor at that church?
Assuming. I mean, he works for his parents.
Yeah, he is. I know that he's on some type of like sabbatical slash probably like there were just some things that I know they weren't aware of that I let them know. So that I know that they are taking care of some of it. I don't know the extent of what's going on, but I do know he's still
Good news,
employed.
it's not your problem anymore. So that's positive.
Not my problem anymore. Yeah. Great news.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine that this is, more unique than getting back out there, or at least what it might seem like. I mean, are you actively looking for employment right now? Is that something that's a stress point for you? Are you pretty comfortable where you are? Have you given thought to, do you still want to remain a pastor? Or are you looking at even making a total shift?
Yeah, I'm kind of trying to figure that out right now. I've been looking. It's just I've never like looked for a church job. I worked for my parents; they're pastors, and then I worked for my in-laws. So I've always like worked in a church that I attended or knew the pastors. It's like really hard for me to just be like, I want to work at this church, not knowing what it is. I also have like a degree in like marketing and communications, so I've been looking kind of at both sides, just figuring it out. I'm not in a rush. I'm kind of taken care of for now. So.
Okay, so you seem good.
About it.
Yeah, you seem good at that in that space. I mean, have you been dating much? I mean, have you gone out there, or have you even tried?
I haven't really been dating. There's been like some randos from my past that like have the trickle of information that I'm about to be officially divorced has diffused. So I've kind of like talked to a few people, but not really like jumped back out there fully or like gone on a date. I was kind of waiting till my divorce was final.
Okay, that's fine. And good news is it's tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yep.
I mean, and I mean, I'm just talking. You seem like you have like, you don't seem overly stressed out, or you don't seem like conflicted about like, you don't seem to be like to be totally reevaluating everything, so to speak. And I think in a good way, where I feel like some people in your position could just really almost be like, oh my God, I'm 28. I was a pastor, and like your whole life,
foundations of my entire life have crumbled.
And it seems like you aren't feeling that way unless you're masking it, or you feel generally pretty excited almost about the prospects of getting out there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think my whole like foundation was like rocked. I have a pretty like personal faith, and I don't really like put that on the actions of church leaders, probably because I was a pastor's kid. So I've kind of seen all you can see behind the scenes, and I'm like, everyone's a human. But I'm not super stressed or anything. I'm relieved that I'm out of that situation, and it was pretty toxic. So yeah, I think I'm just nervous about jumping back out there just because faith's a huge deal to me, and not a lot of people agree with like the values that I hold. So it can be difficult. The way that like my ex and I met was that our parents were friends. They were both pastors, and we kind of ran in the same circle. So it just kind of happened and made sense. And that's how a lot of the people that I've dated, it happened. So just kind of like jumping out there, like in the middle of everything, just feels a little daunting.
Jump, girl, jump.
What are you, I mean, so you're most afraid of going out there and dating and not having, not meeting someone who has the mutual faith background that you've had in your husband, because despite him being toxic and not working out, that was something that what drew you to him.
Yeah, and I think just I don't think everyone has to like have all the exact same values as me. Just respect them. It's really what I want, and it's just I was 22 the last time I was openly dating, and it was a lot different. There weren't all like the dating apps that there are now and all just the things. Like it just feels a lot more complicated than it used to.
Well, I guess my answer is it just doesn't have to be. I mean, I get where you're coming from because, as you've said, you haven't been involved and you've had, it was kind of almost easy in terms of when you met your ex-husband, it kind of made sense. I'm guessing his parents are pastors, my parents are pastors. Those are the reasons when you're young, you kind of settle down. You're like, oh, this is perfect. I found you. The idea of things are, I think, when you're younger, are more appealing than when you get older. And I think, would you probably agree, is now that you've had this relationship and you've lived through this, your expectations of it you want are probably a little bit more defined and probably more strictly based off of your specific needs, not like, oh my God, he's a pastor's son and we get along and he's cute, And so hone into that and like really think about what you want. As far as dating is concerned, my advice to you is don't stress out about the unknown, even though you don't know it. Don't create situations. Don't tell yourself it's going to be overly complicated and all these things. It's a natural fear to wonder if someone's going to have the same beliefs that you have, but I'm pretty sure there's a lot of religious people out there, a lot of Christians out there, a lot of people who believe in God, a lot of people who find that very attractive in someone. I'm guessing as a pastor, you're very comfortable about speaking about your faith and about your beliefs. And I think in general, that's attractive for people, just to be confident about their beliefs. You're going to attract people who are interested in that. Now, you're going to have to decide when you start dating and you meet someone. I think what might be interesting to you is you might meet someone at first where you're like really attracted to them. You find them charismatic. They're going to be maybe very different than your husband.
Yeah.
They may treat you in ways that you're not used to, and yet they're not religious.
Yeah.
And then you might have to deal with that. And to your point, you might find that they are open to your beliefs and respect your beliefs. They're just not quite there. They're maybe they grew up religious and they've gotten a little bit away from the church or things like that. So you might have to experience that. I would challenge you to just be more open right now. I wouldn't close anyone off. I wouldn't say no to people and men that because they immediately say, well, I'm not really that religious, or I was religious and maybe they had a bad experience growing up, and they've gotten a little bit away from the church. I think right now you should just be open. You have been married for so long. I wouldn't try to like settle down anytime soon. I'm assuming you want to. I get it. You probably still want to have a family. Enjoy this next year of just like really, I think, just say next year, I'm going to date. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to meet people. Who knows? You might fall in love in 2 weeks. I don't know. But I think you should just have that mindset of just really being it about yourself and enjoy this time as someone who is single to, date more than one person, to get a variety of the different people out there. Maybe make out with a few guys. You don't have to go out there and sleep with everyone, but like you have the right to experience different types of men and what it's like out there. And so try to have fun with it. I think it's just having a mindset of don't tell yourself it's daunting. Don't tell yourself it's intimidating. Dating apps and things like that. Don't do everything at once. Try one, And when it comes to dating apps, just a heads up, like it's a way to meet people. It's not the end all be all. It's not a lifesaver. It can be daunting. There's a lot of people on there that you will like and dislike, and everyone's going to seem somewhat disinterested and hard to read. But don't let that discourage you. It's like going to a bar, really, on your phone in your living room. I mean, if you have that mentality, then dating apps are just another avenue to meet people that you might like their face and be open to grabbing a coffee or a drink.
I don't know the rules. Are you planning on waiting until marriage again because I know that was originally what you did. Is that your plan moving forward?
Yeah.
Great
I know
question,
you talk about
Rochelle.
purity culture a lot on this podcast. I listen a lot, but I'm pretty sure. I think I was super naive going into this relationship. Like I did blow through a lot of red flags because kind of like you said, Nick, like, oh, this is supposed to happen. Like, look at our families, look at our lives. We want the same thing. This is everything. And I kind of blew through and thought there was no way we could fail. And then obviously not having a lot of experience. Neither one of us had a lot of experience sexually because we both were raised the exact same way. And that played into our marriage a lot. And I think I just didn't realize how big of a deal sex is in a marriage. So I think I'm, pretty sure that I want to wait again, but also I definitely think that I want to marry someone more experienced this time sexually than
Okay. So in a perfect world, you would like to meet someone, wait to have sex. It would be nice if they might be more experienced, but that would be your ideal.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm asking, I'm naturally curious. And as someone who has had sex before, I understand it was with your husband. Now that you're older, I'm curious as to why that is. Is that because of just how you were raised, or you feel like that's the right thing to do? I only say that I had Catholic guilt I call it Catholic guilt, grew up Catholic, you know. Mm-hmm. But because you have had sex before, I feel like, just listening to you talk, it seems like you want to have sex with more people, but you feel like it would be wrong. And so ideally it'd be nice to meet a guy, but if I got a hall pass from God, I'm pretty sure I'd want to fuck a bunch of dudes.
Well, not fuck a bunch of dudes.
Have a little sex.
Test the waters before you jump in.
I don't mean going around and but if you meet a guy and it feels right and you do it without the burden of, I have to marry this guy.
Yeah.
Type of thing.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I know that y'all talk about, like I said, purity culture a lot. I know, Rochelle, you were raised that way too.
Falling off the wagon.
I feel like I'm friends with you guys because I listen to this so much.
You
But
are a friend.
Yeah. No, I was just raised in I feel like a really healthy purity culture, where I was taught, I wasn't in the purity culture that was sex is bad, sex is bad, sex is bad. I was taught sex is incredible, but it just works best in marriage. Just the level of connection that's there and the commitment level.
Yeah.
And I also just think that God tells us to do certain things a certain way for our protection, not to keep us from having fun.
So we don't get chlamydia.
Toddler, that you slap their hand away from a hot stove, they're going to be you're so mean. And you're actually I'm protecting you. So I just feel the level of connection that happens, I would rather just have the commitment of marriage. Obviously,
Mm-hmm.
there's no guarantee you're not going to get divorced, obviously. But yeah, that's kind of my thought process.
I think that's great. And I think you seem very confident in your beliefs, and I support that. You may run into some obstacles there with the men you meet, depending on where you meet them. Mm-hmm. It just depends on where you are kind of shopping for your groceries, so to speak. If you continue to shop for the groceries and places where, you have a bunch of, if it's
probably
other
not going to stop on Tinder, so
yeah, church activities. But if you're out there on dating apps and going out with your friends, you happen to meet just some guy, chances are he's not a virgin. Chances are he's not waiting for marriage, and those will be conversations you'll have to have. I think it's just tougher these days in that sense, and I think, and this already, but minus what the idea of why you got married when you're younger, a lot of people, I think, in the purity, correct me if I'm wrong, Rochelle, with the purity culture, there is this pressure to get married so you can have sex kind of thing. And so
everyone's just super horny.
Yeah. So you're going to have to struggle with that. It's going to be conversation. There's going to be conversations with the person you date who there's a strong chance he is not waiting to have sex, and then he very might be willing and wanting to wait for you and be I love you and I want to make it work, but
yeah.
And then it, again, people, there's all different reasons why we sometimes rush things, and even it feels right. I'm not when people move in together, oh no, we're moving in together because we love each other, and you're kind of saving $500 a month, and you're well, yeah, I mean, sure, yeah, we are saving, but no, we would be doing this anyways. So I think that's just something to be mindful of. You seem like you have a really good head on your shoulders, and you seem really self-aware, and you seem to be willing to look within, but you're going to have to face those kind of challenges, because it's inevitable. If you want to date someone with more experience, you want to get out there and maybe dip your toes in waters where it's not just your church community, you're going to find people who aren't of that same ilk and same belief. So, and that's fine, but just be communicative, have conversations. There might be some discouraging moments for you, and that's okay. But there might be a moment where you have to say, and there might be some compromise that you might have with your faith and beliefs versus like the person you have fallen in love with, who's just like, oh man, I'm really, like I want to date you and I want to get engaged and I want to have it's entirely possible you could meet like a 31-year-old guy, right? Who's at the point of his life where he's ready to settle down. He hasn't been married. He wants to, but he also isn't feeling panicked to like rush an engagement or a marriage. And he's looking, if you were to ask this mysterious 31-year-old guy, hey, I want to settle down. Well, yeah. Do you want to date? Yeah, I'd like to meet someone and date him for a year and a half, 2 years, and then maybe get engaged and have like a 6 to 12 month engagement. Well, like the next guy you meet, you're telling him he has to stop having sex for 3 years potentially, or 2.5 years, if he were to follow his like normal path. As opposed to like, well, I love her and I'm pretty sure we're perfect, but like she wants to wait to marriage. So I guess we'll just get married next week. Yeah. I mean,
but she seems open and like,
I mean, again, you seem level-headed. Yeah. I'm just kind of painting this picture of like, these are, the reality. Let's just not pretend these aren't thoughts and conversations you might have to have. And you're going to just have to figure out that balance between the healthy relationship and moving forward at a pace that's appropriate for the relationship, regardless of sex and beliefs, or, doing it because like, I want to wait till I get married. And so that's going to be that's just an obvious challenge. I think it's easier when you're younger because you're less experienced. Maybe you are a virgin at the time. So you're like, oh, well, I mean, I don't know what I'm missing. And now you've in this fictitious relationship, you both know what you're missing. You've had sex. I'm assuming the next guy you meet is going to have had sex. And now you guys are going to both have to pause that. And that might be a challenge. So, but minus that, the dating aspect, go out there, have some fun, meet people. Don't worry about sex right now. Just get to know people.
Be open-minded.
Have a variety. Be open-minded. Enjoy this time. Really just not worry about settle down for at least 6 months. Just have some fun. You deserve it. Like get to know a bunch of people.
Congratulations on your freedom.
Just really enjoy it. You don't seem stressed about work, but it's also a good time to like think about what you want to do. I would spend more time thinking about work right now than men.
Oh,
and I
yes.
I would use the men aspect and the dating aspect as like a fun little distraction from the job, but kind of an appetizer to go out there on the occasional date and have some fun. I wouldn't spend a lot of time like, oh, I'm getting divorced tomorrow and it's finalized. I have to go out there and need 4 dates lined up. Like, have some fun. Just chill out.
Yeah, totally.
It's really going to be, it's not as daunting as it might feel. And I would think of it as more of a fun thing that you haven't been able to do. And it's, you seem like you have a really good head on your shoulders. And I think that's a great start, and just go from there. This should be fun, and it's going to be fun with moments of discouragement. So just be prepared for that. But that's not a reason to like, oh, dating sucks. That's called life. It makes it interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've had those conversations before, like whenever I was dating, when I was younger, before I dated the guy that I married. I'm used to having like hey, let's talk about sex talk before. So yeah. And I'm open, and like you said, I'm definitely I know the difference now. Yeah. I think it was probably easier for me to not, because I hadn't, like you said, I didn't know what I was missing. Now I do. So that's different.
Yep, that's great. And one thing, just to heads up, there's a good chance that the next guy you meet who you kind of like and think is really nice, he's going to be probably very different than your ex, and you're going to really love him for that.
Yeah.
And that's exciting. But just know that it's almost...
Don't jump.
I would really just take some time and get to know them, because different is good, but that's going to be heightened, and you're going to appreciate that a lot more than you otherwise would, because you didn't have maybe someone who doesn't, can get mad without being verbally abusive and toxic and things like that. So that's nice. But again, I think you really need to take some time and figure out, you have really no idea what you want as a person. You knew what you wanted as a young woman who liked the idea and this kind of image, but as you as a human being and your taste in men and how you feel emotionally fulfilled in a relationship, you probably have very little knowledge to what that is. And so just figure it out. Take some time.
Yeah. I know what I don't want, so.
It's a start, but you need to figure out what you do want. Yeah, that's a good start. But don't dismiss that figuring out what you want is also part of the challenge too. But you're young, have some fun, and enjoy the ride.
Thanks for sharing your story, Katie.
Yeah. Congratulations on the divorce. And,
thanks.
Great that you have such a positive outlook.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks.
All right. Take care.
Bye.
She's totally gonna get laid in like 6 months. I mean,
Less than that, probably.
you think so?
Yeah. I think she should move, start a new life. You know what I mean? Just like start fresh.
Sure, but she also seems like someone who's really seems to be totally in control.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't get a sense that she was panicked.
It is nice her faith didn't like get destroyed by that whole
She
situation.
seems to have a
either.
really healthy upbringing, and like,
Yeah.
I mean, I literally can't imagine what it would be like in her situation. We have so many of our callers call in, and they describe these situations of feeling stuck.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And she had all the reasons.
She overcame that.
I mean, and she almost like the self-awareness of me, like, this is fucked up. And I'm
Yeah.
sure like there were moments where she probably put up with it longer than she should have, and she acknowledged that. But yet,
the strength.
I mean, she worked for her, you know, like her whole life was tied into this. And I think so many people out there, different stories, but have that, and probably less so. And I think she's, I mean, in a way, an inspiration of the people who like, shit, man. That's kind of the point. She's only 28. It was probably very daunting to go through all that. And yet here she is tomorrow.
And it's against her religion.
Here she is, like, she has the rest. It's like, I'm almost excited for her. The rest, it's a sunny day in LA. I don't know where she's calling from, but I was like, I'm getting divorced tomorrow and I can go out and do whatever the fuck I want. Right. And like, I get the impression her parents are probably very accepting and loving and not judgmental of her choices to get divorced.
Yeah.
And even it almost seems like her in-laws are seemingly, I don't know, like she didn't describe a messy conflict situation.
They did fire her.
Did they fire her?
Yeah, they gave her a severance package.
Yeah, but like, maybe she didn't want to work there anymore.
Probably not.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm watching Righteous Gemstones right now, and I'm like, that's all I can think of.
All I could think of. I was totally thinking of that. I'm totally watching that. It's on HBO. I was absolutely thinking of that.
Like the mega church.
Yeah, like hey, everyone's a family. Everyone's all in on it. No, but she described a situation where it seemed that she didn't say. I just got the impression that it was kind of like, we let's just everyone I shouldn't work here, right? Do you want to give me a severance?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's another example of you don't need to feel stuck. And then
let's all be more like Katie.
She and you know, there's going to be ups and downs for her. Her biggest challenge will be the sex stuff.
You think?
Yeah. I think, you know, if I had to guess, she's going to go out there and date a little bit. She'll get discouraged pretty quickly. Mm-hmm. And then she'll probably my fear for her almost is to get discouraged and then find a guy who's
just okay.
Subconsciously find a guy who has another very similar beliefs, who's like willing to wait, because that's very stressful on her part. Yeah. And I don't know. I'm not sure. That could happen. But I also feel like this is like stage one of her slowly kind of defining her own values. Yeah. And less about like, you know, how she was raised. And she seems to have a good head on her shoulders. But if she really falls for a guy who's like, she's fine, she's hot, and he's just like, I mean, I'll wait, babe.
Oh, it's going down.
I'll wait. But like, hey, and he's just like, again, this more experienced person that she wants. Right. And all of a sudden he's doing things that her ex-husband never knew how to do. She's going to be like, just take me now. I'm pretty sure. And you know what? God bless. How's it going?
Good. How are you two?
Good. What's your name?
My name's Brandon. I'm 33.
33, Brandon.
Woo, 33.
Are you 33?
Yeah.
Right. It's a good age, guys.
Brandon, are you okay with us showing your face?
Yeah, he said.
He said earlier.
Yes, absolutely.
Brandon,
love your show. I just want to say that up
thank
front and forward. I'm a 10%er technically, but I got to say, I love listening. I love the content. I think it's fascinating.
Great.
Especially some of these problems that people have. It's just interesting.
We really appreciate a 10% calling in. Get all your buddies to listen. How can we help you, Brandon?
Originally I had emailed Rochelle because you guys always mention the 10%ers calling. And I thought, I've got a really interesting story. I've been doing online dating for the past, I'd say year, maybe two. Been dating some women on and off. And I have a really interesting case I want an opinion on with a particular woman who I've talked to on and off over the past year or two. Anyways, I met her on Tinder back about a year and a half ago. and great intellectual conversation. We were drawn to each other, I think, physically too, obviously, because in online dating, you're looking at people's photos. So that's pretty much all you're basing it on, right?
Yep.
And we talked on and off over the course of, I'd say about 2 months maybe. And I kept, wanting to meet up with her. And, she said just likes to talk to people online a little longer before meeting up. And I'm more the person that likes to jump in and just meet somebody right away with online dating so I don't waste time. Well, it ended up, we talked for the, 3 months and never met. And so I thought that was a little odd. So, I pretty much just, kind of blew her off and stopped talking to her. Well, then a couple months go by and she messages me again. It talks to me, acts interested, and wants to meet up for a date. And it didn't work out for some reason or another. I think I was dating somebody at the time. And then another year goes by, and this is more recent. This is about a month ago. And she messages me again saying, that she was still interested in meeting up. And, we're talking for the last couple of weeks up until about a week ago. And I kept wanting to meet up with her, go on a date. And, obviously she keeps blowing me off. So I just wanted a third opinion on it because, besides the obvious, maybe I need some third person perspective here because I think, obviously she must be interested in some form because why would she message me, multiple times over the course of a year and a half?
Yeah. I mean, is this only happen with this particular person, or when it comes to your experience on dating apps, is this kind of a unique situation?
No, definitely not. I mean, it's happened to me, I'd say quite a few times.
Okay.
Times.
Yeah.
I mentioned that in the email too.
Yep, in the email.
Yeah. It's happened quite a few times.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure why.
And so you seem,
I don't know.
You seem to have a hard time getting women to have the first date with you.
To show up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you seem like a handsome enough guy,
Handsome enough. He's super handsome.
I know. What do you want to be like? You're such a babe, Brandon. Yeah, you're a good-looking guy. I can't sit there and audit your text messages. I mean, the truth is, I wouldn't stress about it too much. I mean, what could you possibly be saying? I mean, unless I'm assuming you're not like asking aggressive questions. Even for me, like when I sometimes message people, I can be like, especially if I'm like bored and don't give a shit, I like this is the most random shit. And it's like sometimes funny or snarky, but I think it is, but I might be doing it in a dry sense of humor. So I'm like, I don't even know how they're going to read this. But I sometimes find that has the best responses, right? So you never really know, because even if you were to say a message, a young woman, be like, hey, like your face, let me know if you're interested in getting drinks sometime. I mean, even as like awkward as that is, or aggressive or direct, someone could argue, some woman on the other end might be like, oh my God, thankfully a guy who finally just cuts the bullshit and wants to meet up. Everyone's different. This particular, I mean, I'm surprised that it seems to be a regular thing. I mean, maybe that's just in your head perspective of,
you don't think people are flaky on?
I think they are flaky. Oh, that's kind of my point. Yeah. But like, is that like when you say you're having a hard time, will you say 9 out of 10, or like half the women are flaky?
Or have you only tried 3 times?
I'd say a good 7.5 out of 10. Like let's say 1 in every 4 or 3 in every 4. Sorry, would do that. Yeah, it's a common thing for me.
What do you have on your profile? What are your pics on your profile?
What are they?
Yeah.
Like general stuff. Like I've got one of, me hiking or something in Yosemite when I was in Yosemite or
You and a dog. You and your mom.
Do you have your phone on you? Do you have can you bring up your?
I mean, nothing crazy, just random pictures, I guess you could say.
Nick wants to see your
don't know.
profile.
I want to see them. How many of your pictures? Let me just ask you this, and you can go look. Are your pictures that they can clearly, like right now I'm looking at you and I see like a background. It's clearly I know what you look like. It's obvious, right? But I can imagine a picture of you hiking where you're like 10 feet in the background. You see like, oh, there's a white guy with some facial hair. Like he seems like maybe cute. So your pictures can at least one photo. Is it clear what you look like? Because I'll be honest, I've seen like my friends' accounts or whatever, and I've seen other people's accounts, and I'll look through 5 or 6 pictures, and I'll be honest, I have really no idea what this person looks like. I have a general idea. I think they maybe are cute and they have brown hair or but I really don't know. I don't know how old this picture is. Like it seems like maybe it could be older. And I think at the end of the day, to your point, like especially with photos, people want to know what you look like. So like, I guess, is it obvious? Like, even if it's like a photo, like a screenshot of this right now would be as good of it might be a little weird, but,
a screenshot of this right now. No, totally. Hey, I will literally show you.
Oh,
okay, there you go.
A front-facing selfie.
Totally. Yeah, that's great. Totally handsome. You seem like a nice guy.
Friendly.
I don't know, man. Like,
are you overly sexual at all in your talks?
Yeah.
I would say no. I try not to be aggressive.
Some hesitant.
When you say you would say no, what do you mean? I feel like that's a fairly like, no, I don't bring that up.
Politicians.
Hey, to an extent. I mean, it depends on the woman. Some women are more aggressive than others, and I try to let women lead in that department because it's 2019, right? I mean,
that seems.
I know if a guy is overly sexual with me, I'm more hesitant to meet up because I'm like, what are the expectations here?
Totally.
Am I going to have to put out if I'm not? You know what I mean? Even though you
totally
never have
that,
to.
But according to Brandon, and I believe him, that if you were to like make some sort of sexual joke or reference or maybe imply something you wanted to know about him, like, I'll play along. Right? So I think that's reasonable. I think it's risky via text messages, having never met someone and having like no ability to understand their sarcasm, sense of humor, or reflection. I think that's there's a risk for anyone to do that, man or woman, to like start making jokes and conversations about sex when you don't know someone.
It makes the first meetup have higher stakes.
It does, right? So to Rochelle's point, yes, when it comes to meeting someone up on a dating app, you want to like make it easy for everyone involved. And I get why women are way more hesitant than men to just meet a stranger, right? And so I think men might get more discouraged than women because women, you say it flaky, but like, I don't know, like it's just like, I don't know, this guy could be an aggressive, crazy white guy. I don't know. There's a bunch of crazy white guys. Right? So I think to Rochelle's point, if you want to meet women, I think your only real goal on a dating app and your communication shouldn't be necessarily get to know them, but just to make it really comfortable for them.
Yeah.
Whatever they want.
You're
be
a nice,
really
normal
easygoing.
person.
Just
Safe.
be like, sure, whatever. I kind of just want to meet you, but like, sure, if you want to talk, like just really chill and really easygoing, because the banter over, and if they want to, like, if this particular young woman who's like, well, I want to keep talking, you're like, sure, you keep talking and let her ask questions and answer the questions. But, yeah, I mean, as far as this one unique person, I wouldn't waste much time.
No.
I mean,
yeah,
the way you describe it's been over the course of a couple years. You could just, if she messaged you again, just be like, hey, listen, I don't mean to be rude. I've clearly had an interest in talking to you, but like, it doesn't seem like you want to meet me, so I'm not trying to have a virtual relationship. I think that's fine at this point. Other women that you start meeting and having conversations with, don't listen. If you want to say I'd love to meet you, I've done that before. There's nothing wrong with that. But like, if they don't, you might just, if someone wants to have a conversation, just throw it, just be like, okay, well, when you do, like, I'm totally down, to grab a drink. What are you suggesting when you meet? Like what kind of activities?
I honestly, depending on the person, but 9 out of 10 times I say coffee because that's like a good mutual thing, right? Maybe they don't drink.
Why are you, Rochelle's shaking her head in disgust. I don't. That's fine if you don't want. I mean, I like the option. I think coffee's totally fine. Again, we're just talking about making it easy, and there's nothing less threatening and easy to get out of,
but also easy to back out on because you're like, I don't really want to go sit for coffee. Whereas if you're going out, at least it's something to do at night.
I mean, honestly, is that what you're thinking? Because I'm just thinking if you're someone, we seem to be on the same page of like, I just want to meet someone and get to know them.
Yeah.
And coffee is the least investment. It could be at 3 o'clock in the afternoon because really on that first quote unquote date on a dating app, you just want to basically verify their face and like their body language and presence.
I could be wrong. It just sounds so boring.
Well, it could be boring if you walked in on a date, Rochelle.
I would at least want to go
and
somewhere.
you found him hot and you found him charismatic and he was like giving you eye contact and asking you questions. Would that be boring? Isn't it all about the date?
I mean, time is so valuable. And if you're going to spend time, you might as well be doing something fun or different or cool.
I find that so interesting, but can it just be more casual? I feel like
I'm saying I could be wrong. That's just
there's not a right or wrong. I guarantee you there's plenty of people who agree with you.
Yeah.
But I think, listen, you seem to be doing everything fine. Don't get discouraged.
Don't get discouraged.
I would maybe go and look and like the sex stuff. Like I would try to cut that down to like a 0. Cause like, what could you really, you're gonna, in a weird way, you're going to be attracting the wrong people if weird text exchange is turning people on having never met them. Like you could potentially be dealing with a catfish, like I don't think most normal, even very sexual women are like into like texting sexual questions via a guy they've never met.
Well,
I mean, again, if they want to, but I think again, just
if you're looking to meet up and meet someone great, yeah.
If you're like trying to meet someone, I mean, listen, the answer is all can be very confusing, but just do things to make it as easier on the women who might have reluctance and fears and anxiety, when rightfully so, about meeting strange men.
Yeah, we could die.
Right? Well, hey, I'll tell you what. I even have the other end of the spectrum, though. Here's this one. Okay, for instance, like a month ago, I had a girl. She was the total opposite, right? She was in too much of a hurry almost to give me her number. We literally talked for maybe an hour, chatting back and forth, and she gives me her number. And one of her very first questions is like, how many kids do you want and stuff like that when we're texting? And I'm like, whoa, this is really aggressive, but she seemed nice enough. So I let it go. We talked for about a week. And then when I tried to get her to meet up with me again, wouldn't meet up with me. So,
you don't need to talk to me for a week.
Yeah, a week is even a long time. I mean, I will say, like I'm a huge believer with someone you've never met and you don't know each other's personalities. Every text you sent back and forth is an opportunity for them for you to fuck up.
Yeah.
Again, even the most smoothest person, because you don't know what mood they're in or how they're going to interpret it. So like
as few texts as possible.
Yeah, like everything you send is just an opportunity to fuck up. And in your case, I think Brandon's on the same page as us because he wants to meet these women.
Right.
They just want to give Brandon an opportunity to fuck up. But there's not much you can do there. Is like, I guess what I'm saying is if someone doesn't want to jump in right away, don't be like, all right, fine, I have to have all these conversations and then want to text him every day. Still play it very chill. Still put it out there that your ultimate goal is just to meet you in person and get to know you. And whenever they're comfortable and like, coffee or drinks, give them the option at least. Maybe they think coffee's stupid. No, listen, I think there's plenty of women who think it's like, really? So let's be like, hey, I don't know. Like, I'm open. I'd love to meet you.
It's a boner killer.
Let's just keep it super chill. And you can even joke, be like, I don't even know if you want to spend a whole entire dinner with me, but I'm down. Like, I don't know.
That's the way I see it. Coffee's like an easy out, right? If I don't like her, she doesn't like me, you get stuck in the middle of a dinner. It's a little harder to walk away.
There's a flip side, right? And the flip side is she might be like, oh, he just wants to have coffee. Like he's just trying to screen me. He's not really invested. I don't really know if I want to bother with the coffee. So there's that. And and that's the struggle about dating apps is you really don't know the other person's frame of mind. You don't know, maybe it's like you just might have a string of bad luck where every girl you're connecting with, the last guy they met up with on a dating app was a fucking dick. You know, that's entirely possible. So like my takeaway is you don't get that discouraged. We're talking to you for about 15 minutes here. You seem totally normal. You might not be everyone's cup of tea because no one is. You're a good looking guy. I mean, you seem like, you know, you're just trying to shoot your shot and that's all you can do. Are you only on Tinder?
Sorry, repeat that.
Are you only on Tinder?
No, I'm on a few different apps. Okay, so
actually. You're mixing it up. Okay. I mean, it was just like, I don't know. I'm not saying one's better than the other, but like, who knows? Maybe just try a different one. Maybe take a break from it a little bit. What's that?
Is there a better one? Have you had better luck on a certain one?
I only used one, and it's like a really pretentious, snobby one, and that's not, you know, it's not particularly great for love.
Good for networking.
But I think that's the thing. Like, you never really know, and I think it's fine with being on multiple ones, and I think it's fine. Like, there's that balance of not counting on it and not obsessing over it. Next thing you know, I think sometimes people find themselves they're checking their dating apps 3 or 4 times a day in every single one, and maybe sometimes you just need to step away and breathe if you're feeling that anxiety. If dating apps are giving you anxiety, I think it's always good to just step away a little bit and take a time out and maybe delete the apps, because I think sometimes we don't even realize that if we have this angst about meeting someone dating apps, I think we can sometimes project that, you know, even via text. We can seem a little over anxious and a little needy and a little like, especially like if a girl won't meet up with you, there might be just it's hard to describe, but we definitely will project a little bit. And so maybe take a little time away from it. But for the most part, I wouldn't get too discouraged. I mean, listen, I have definitely, just because I'm a competitive guy or whatever, I've had different, but like women in my life that over the, you know, like not from a dating app, but like I've met them, but like it was like a year and a half. We never really got together and or eventually did, but it was like this thing where we'd pop in each other's lives. And ultimately it's kind of like something maybe you're doing for fun. I clearly wouldn't invest time. Who knows? Maybe this good woman's the one for your dreams. She could be a catfish. Who the hell knows? She certainly has some angst, but like, have you ever texted her and said, listen, you know, I don't want to bug you or, you know, but like, why don't, you know, like, do you really want to get together, or why do you keep checking in, or are you bored? Are you in a relationship? Like, what's going on? Have you kind of playfully called her out? Because at this point with her, you have nothing to lose.
I have in a passive way, but
what do you mean by passive?
I should be a little more aggressive about it.
What do you mean by passive?
Well, I would call it a little less aggressive. Like earlier in our conversation, you had mentioned to just bring up like, hey, you know, are you really interested in meeting up or not? I wouldn't say I really mentioned it that way. I'm more of, you know, ask her if, you know, she was really interested in meeting up, or if she was just more interested in talking and taking, you know, more time to get to know me.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
You know?
No.
Yeah.
No.
So like.
No.
Yeah. So be less passive.
Yeah.
And I don't like using the word aggressive, but a direct maybe is better, you know. And maybe there's a little tone there. Maybe you seem a little. Again, there's a chance you might come across a little needy and
powerless
and hoping someone will just say yes to going out with you. Not on purpose, but as a result, and you might be in your head about that. It's nothing you're doing. Again, like you could just play with her, fuck with her in the sense, like, oh, hey, pen pal. You know, like when she like reaches out to you and just be like, hey, like you seem cool, but like, again, just be like, I would love to get together, but I don't know how much more I can learn about you over this app. And that's fine if you don't want to meet, but like you don't seem that interested.
Yeah, just ask.
Just tell her you're not interested. You don't seem interested in me. And that's fine. You know, don't ask, be like, just say, hey, we should get together. You know, don't like, I think in a dating app subtleties, you know, hey, would you be willing to get together with me? No. You want to get together? No. Always suggest. I think we should get drinks next Wednesday.
Ooh, that's so sexy.
I'd love to take you out for drinks. Are you free Tuesday or Thursday?
Yeah.
Give them 2 options, right? And so little things like that of just like, saying, hey, I'm free here. I'm not. When are you free? Whenever you are. No. Like you're only free 2 days out of the week, and then you give them 2 options. And if someone wants to meet you, they will. And then and if they want to follow up and just be like, hey, just be like, hey, I don't want to be curt, but like, I'm just really busy and I'd love to meet you. You seem really interesting. I'm dying to get to know you more. So let me know when you're free, And eventually they'll get bored and follow up with you. Yeah. And I don't say that on you, but like a lot of time, I think in dating apps, most people finally go on that date because they're kind of bored, because it is hard. Even guys are just like, do I really want to go? Women are worried about getting killed. Men are worried about spending $60 on drinks, I mean, it's funny. More and more women I talk to, like they're, clearly it's a real fear of like,
of course,
what is this guy's just creepy and weird and aggressive and all these things they have to worry about, and we just don't want to like drop $100 on someone we don't like.
Yeah,
I think that's a good point, and I think that's why I usually take too much time to talk to women before meeting them, because I feel like that makes them more comfortable, but maybe I'm devoting too much time to that.
Yeah, probably a little bit. You're probably like coming across slightly needy and probably a little bit like hoping they will go out with you. Have a small talk and just say, you seem great. I'd love to get to know you. I'd love to talk more about this over drinks. I'm free. Let's get together next Tuesday. And they can say great, or they can be like, oh, I'm not free Tuesday, but how about Thursday? I mean, that's how that conversation would go, who's someone who's interested in you. And if they say, well, I don't really want to meet right now, you say, cool, let me know when you're free. And then kind of shut it down. What more could you, like, you're only going to fuck up. You really are. You're only going to fuck up in a dating app by having a bunch of conversations.
That's true.
I'm not saying lead with like, let's get drinks. You can, but like quick conversations. Right. You can make a joke, be like, hey, obviously I love to travel. I'm not here to just have sex. Everyone says they love to travel on dating apps. I bet I can make you laugh. Give me a shot. Let's have some drinks. I don't know.
Well, good luck out there.
Keep it chill. You're doing fine. I would step away from it for maybe a week or 2 and then get back out there and just state what you want without being aggressive.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I think I will definitely try that.
And if you're going to waste time on these women who keep checking in, just know that you're wasting time. And I'm not saying don't do that, but like I've done that. Just so like I'm doing this. I know it's a waste of my time, but I'm bored and I'm on my couch and I'm just fucking around, right? But like if you're actually investing a lot of your time figuring out how you can finally get this girl to go out with you, then you're being a little delusional. And we all do that, right? Like just know that this is like, and who knows, you could hang out with her and she'd be like, oh, I don't know why we didn't do this a year and a half ago. But right now she's just wasting your time. Mm-hmm. So just know what's a time waster and know what's kind of like appropriate reservations on the part of the women.
All right. Definitely true. All right. Well, I will definitely keep that in mind.
Thanks
all right,
for
man.
calling
Well, thanks
in.
for calling. Best of luck. I appreciate you listening. Tell all your friends and good luck. Great luck, Brandon.
I will. Definitely.
All right, buddy. Take care. Thanks so much.
Nice talking to you both.
You as well.
Day.
Yeah, I think Brandon's going to be just fine. He's a handsome guy. Seems nice. I mean, the good news is he's going to get a bunch of women from this podcast. I mean, if no other reason for guys,
10%ers to
call in.
Women be hungry.
Every time we have a guy caller,
yep.
And there's Rochelle gets how many emails,
DMs. My friend would be perfect for him.
My friend would be perfect. Yeah,
because they're nice guys who listen to this podcast are usually nice.
They're
guys.
really nice guys. Yeah. Probably, maybe, slightly too nice.
Too nice. Oh, that's true.
Not too nice, but like they're wanting love a little bit too much, and at that, I think that kind of we've all been there, right? We all even when we think we're self-aware. Yeah. When you can project anxiety via text. You can project neediness. Yeah. In all forms. So I think when you feel that, I think it's always a good practice to step away from a little bit.
Step away.
And
step away from the dating apps.
Put it out there what you want and walk away. I mean, how much, again, like if you, there's just, that's the thing. There's just no magic bullet. There's no magic conversation. There's no, There's like, the more you talk, the more chances you have to fuck up.
I love that.
And like, you've never met them. They don't know your sarcasm.
Yes.
How can you possibly,
Yes.
there's so many unknown variables in a conversation between two people who've only seen pictures of each other that, you know, I think it's good for men to just put it out there.
Yeah.
And understand that women might have a lot of reservations that you don't have.
Exactly.
But it's okay to just say, well, great, cool. This is what I'd love to do.
Yeah.
When you're ready, let me know.
Yeah.
I think it's exciting. All right. How's it going?
Okay. It's going well. How are y'all?
Good. What's your name?
My name is Victoria. I am 23. Yeah.
Victoria, 23. Victoria, how can we help?
Yes. Okay. So my question is, I guess I've been in and out of a relationship, and I'm usually, I've been known to stay in them for way too long, and kind of not maybe be the last person to catch the hints or know when to pack my bags and get out of it. So
okay,
not really sure. I guess if there are specific things that you should look for to move on, because it's really confusing at the moment.
Tell us about your current relationship.
Okay, so been dating this guy who's quite a bit older. He's 30 now, and we started dating we were dating probably a year and a half ago, and then just broke up in March. But we were back and forth where he would say, you know, maybe this isn't the best relationship for us, and then would call me a week later and want to hang out or want to be something, and then would decide a week after that he was done with it. But he's all in when he's in, and kind of really all out when he's out.
But was he really all in?
Well, he's very attentive.
Was he really all in?
It seemed like it. And I wouldn't say like he's emotionally unavailable. It's just like he doesn't know when to be emotionally available and then when to like get out of it.
I'm just asking that because you said he wasn't ever able to say, I love you. Is that correct?
Right. And, you know, that's really hard for a girl, especially like, I don't know, I'm an Enneagram type too. So I'm like, I want to be validated and loved and cared for, just like as a personality type. And so I wasn't ever upset that he didn't say it, but then I would ask, you know, do you love me? And he would say everything about you. And I would say, well, why can't you say it? And then he would just like not really give me a reason or say like, I don't know.
Well, the answer is he doesn't want to say it.
Right.
I mean, I don't mean to, but like we so often trying to think of reasons why the person we're with isn't saying I love you. And when it comes down to it, for whatever reason, they don't want to. I'm sure there's like extreme examples of like maybe they just don't know how to express love from their family. But like, come on, at the end of the day, they don't want to, you know?
Right.
And I think we should pay attention to that and stop trying to figure out reasons and just accept it. And then that way it's more freeing for you because then you can go forward being like, I don't have to keep figuring out why they won't say it. I know they don't want to. And then you can decide what you want to do with that relationship knowing that they don't want to yet. And that's all. That might be okay for some people not. Like, I don't know, I'm not there yet, you know? And for you, you can be like, well, if you're not there now, then you're not going to be, you know?
Right. So that's what I kept saying. Like, you know me well enough now. We've been through the ups and the downs. You should know by now. You should be able to say it if you felt it. And so, but I wasn't ever like upset. I was just like kind of hurt. Like, you know, I want to hear that somebody loves me, especially if I'm the one saying it to them first. And so, whenever he doesn't say it, it's not like I'm mad because I don't want to ever force anybody to say something they're not ready to say yet. But it's like, if they're not ever going to be ready, is it time to like let go of that?
I mean, what do you think?
I probably think it's time.
Well, like, what are you holding on for? Like, what do you love? Like, I mean, other than comfort, and I'm sure he's attractive, and I'm sure when you're with him and he's giving you all his attention, I'm sure it's fun. I'm sure it's all those things. But a relationship is more than that, right? Like, there's a difference between meeting someone and having great sex or just great chemistry and a lot of fun and having them be a really good time. That's not a relationship. That's a fun person to hang out with, right? That's a fun person to have sex with. A relationship is someone that doesn't constantly make you wonder, how they feel about
Right.
you, and if they're going to be present or distant and things like that. That is not a relationship. And so often we try
Right.
to call those things relationships and then put a bunch of band-aids on them and figure out a bunch of ways to make it work when all the signs are telling us that we're not actually in a relationship. We're just have someone in our life who's like sometimes fun and good at sex.
Yeah. I mean, you're not wrong. I think, this guy, being that he's 30, I probably put him up on a little bit of a pedestal.
That's honest, but
and
like
just-
he's not that much older than you, I mean,
Yeah,
I
guess.
He
Lived a lifestyle that I was interested in
Yeah.
and really brought me
Rich.
to become, I guess, who I am
And
now.
that's great.
And
Like-
so I
Oh,
credit that to him, you know?
and that's awesome. And I think that's cool to give him credit for that. There's nothing wrong with saying like, wow, you really serve this purpose in my life, and maybe that's all it is.
God
And that
bless.
can be happen. We meet people who are older, or it might be because they're older, it might be because they come from a different walk of life, or all of the above, and they will open up doors for us and give us access and experience. Those are all great things, There's nothing wrong with that. But as far as am I in a relationship with this person, that's a different conversation to have with yourself, and try not to confuse the two. We often do that. We've talked about this in a past relationship.
Right.
You're going to date an older person, and especially women dating an older man, you kind of have to act as if, in terms of to not be, you can admit to yourself it's a little intimidating, but like you need to know how to push back appropriately. And I don't mean push back by like finding things to complain about but just, you really got to trust your gut if you're younger and you're dating someone older and you feel intimidated, you got to trust your gut. If it feels wrong, regardless, if maybe later you might have perspective and realize, I was young and I was kind of like, I shouldn't have been mad. Fine. But be mad now. Just trust your gut. You're better off trusting your gut and learning how to trust your gut than doubting yourself, even if like your opinion might change later in life. But that's part of figuring that out.
Yeah.
what's the lifestyle you said that you found attractive?
Not so much, I guess, like he's just all
Say it.
intriguing. Everything about him, not really his lifestyle. I mean, we worked in the restaurant industry. He was my trainer. And so maybe it was just that he was older and he was like the guy that everybody wanted.
Can I
I
guess?
kind of clinged onto that and I was like, huh?
Can I guess?
Guess what?
Sure.
What she found appealing in that is that,
Please.
well, when you're old, like when you're younger and you meet an older person, and again with perspective, I think less things bothered him. He probably seemed more open-minded about certain things than you even were. He maybe even described situations, be like, you know what, don't sweat that. And you're like, you know what, I shouldn't sweat that. That's cool and super chill. And he was just like, why don't you try this? You're
so
like, oh, is that
accurate.
cool? And like, you're like, yeah. And he explained why something might be cool that you thought wasn't cool, and because you just didn't know. And that's all very exciting.
It's easy to get someone else's personality instead of struggling to develop your own. I
True,
did that.
but again, and that
Right.
kind of comes with sometimes dating like you meet older people, they help get you perspective, and perspective is attractive and sexy, and be like, oh wow, so much of we react to things when we're younger. It's like, I don't know, I was told this is wrong, and I don't know, and then everyone's like, wait, this is cool, and you feel liberated, and those are all fun feelings to feel, and just don't give them all that much credit. If it wasn't going to be him, it was going to be someone else.
I bet he's
right?
really not that great.
He's probably just he's a fucking trainer at a restaurant, and he's 30.
Restaurant
Yeah,
guy.
like he is just he's got his
Anyone his
playbook.
own age is like, okay, buddy.
He's Ryan Reynolds from the movie Waiting. If you haven't seen that movie, go see it. I'm sure he's great.
Really,
I'm not trying to shit
y'all
on
are
him.
right. Like if it wasn't him, it would be somebody else. Because I did grow up in a small West Texas town.
Okay.
And, like
Yeah.
How
very
did you know that, Nick?
sheltered.
Nick called it. I was just surprised that Nick called it so well. That's insane.
What did he call?
Okay, keep going. I interrupted
Okay.
you.
So no, you're fine. I'm really religious. I still am, but I grew up under these like rules and restrictions of like things to do. And so like when I met him, it was like a whole new world of like possibilities and, you know, opportunities and stuff. And
he probably made you feel less judged and in a weird kind of fucked up way because he was older. He's your equal, but also like not like a parental, but, you know, older. You admired him for it. And
a spirit guy.
Yeah. And your parents are telling you one thing's wrong and he's being like, well, it's not really.
Yeah.
And that's normal and fine.
So, yeah.
Going back to this relationship, when you start like, I mean, think back and listen to yourself talk when you know, listen to this podcast when it comes out and like, imagine it not being you. Imagine it being some other girl calling in and what you would say to her. And here you are telling the story about like, we dated and then he left and I basically waited around. And when he came back, I was there with open arms. And like, you'd be like, girl, like what? You know, don't do that. Like, what is he doing that's so special that's worth like being available whenever he wants? You know? Yeah, he's just a fucking guy who's a trainer at a restaurant.
I mean, I went through this same thing when I was coming out of my super sheltered background. It was a boyfriend who kind of Sherpa'd me into the new life. Yeah. And then I struggled so much, but I had to realize I didn't need him to live this new life. I could do it on my own, but I had my mind had associated him with that.
Yeah, because I get it. You never done that before, but like, just know that he served a purpose. It could be anyone, and take some of that power back by just being like, "Hey, you were fun. Thank you." Almost like you used them in a way, you know, like, like that. Listen. I've graduated from your school of whatever it is. You know, it was fun. Thank you. I'm good now. I'm going to find someone else. Like, you know.
Get your cap and gown and get out of there.
Like when you graduate third grade, you don't keep going back to third grade. You move on to fourth grade. You know? Like, how much can this guy really be training on? You know? But it's that simple, really, right? You're just... It's basically like you graduated third grade, but and when you're younger, like, oh, you graduated third grade? Well, where do I go? Oh, yeah. Then someone's like, oh, you go to fourth grade. You know, then when someone tells you where to go, and now you're like, well, okay, I graduated. What do I do now? Well, I don't know. I guess I'll just go back to class in school and do the same thing over again. Yeah. You know, that's kind of what you're doing. So just know that like there's plenty of other 30-year-old restaurant fuckboys who will like teach you exciting things about life.
There is there's no dearth of men like that.
He does, there's like a limitless pond of fun boys. And I'm not knowing to shit on them. Like, again, they're probably cool and fun, and he's still relatively young, and you know, he doesn't love you because he's waiting for the next 23-year-old girl he has to train, you know? No. And he's definitely having sex with other people, without question. He is.
I think he's not.
Yeah.
No,
well,
you're wrong.
Maybe not while you're hanging out, but from the time you met until now, he has definitely slept with other people. Otherwise, you would be in a relationship.
Sorry. Yeah.
No, it's okay. I mean, hard truth, you know?
Yeah. It's fine.
I need to hear it.
Don't be naive, and
it'll be fine.
But also keep in mind, there's a reason why he hasn't completely settled down with you, and that's because he wants that freedom to do these things. You know, people are just like, well, we're together, we're not together, but we're committed. You know, it's just like, no. Like there is a reason why people don't say, I only want to be with you, and I want to give that all up. You know, some people do it and then cheat, and they're assholes. But like, you know, and at this point, that's kind of on you. Don't try to. He's been pretty.
He wants to keep training.
Fairly indirectly, he's been pretty upfront with what he doesn't want, and that is a relationship with you, or to say he loves you, and you have to accept that and not try to figure out what's the other like Freudian reason why he can't just say it, because like he doesn't want to say it to you. You know, and then accept that and move on. You know, stop putting him on a pedestal just because he's the first older guy you've dated and he's got that slight kind of power over you. There'll be plenty of older guys you're going to date, you know? And it's true. You're young and 23, and it's the first time you did it, and it feels weird. I guarantee you the next time you do it, it won't be weird for you. And then maybe that guy ends up being 35 or 36, and then maybe you meet a 28-year-old, and like you'll just be more variety. And as you get older, age will be less of a number, because like you'll just become... You're just going to be an adult dating other adults. And as long as, we talked about this before, as long as you guys are in the both kind of same place in your life where, you know, you kind of want to settle down and have kids if that's what you want, then it doesn't really matter. You know, when you meet a guy who like has kids, is divorced, that conversation might be different and might not, you know, and that's all that really matters there. So you're wasting a lot of time right now figuring out a guy who's kind of been fairly upfront with you what he doesn't want.
Yeah, that's very true.
And you're a total babe.
Huh?
You're a total babe. You got lots of options.
Yeah, you're super hot. You're going to be totally fine.
Thank you. Thanks.
She doesn't like compliments.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nick. And thank y'all for the advice. I mean, yeah, it's good to hear the constructive, because I have a lot of people on my corner that are like, yeah, you should probably stop, or it's time to move on. But it's like when you're saying, you know, he is doing this, he's probably sleeping with other people. He's not in it for you and, you know, to settle down. And
your
stuff.
girlfriends are sweet, but they don't want to tell you that he's not going to love you. It's harder for them to say. They should. I don't know. It's like, it's not harsh criticism. It's just a reality, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Do you guys still work at the same restaurant?
I don't work there anymore.
Great.
Good. Yeah.
It's just an excuse to do things when we get bored.
Yeah. Yeah.
Move on. Cut it off. I think just say no, right? And even when you get bored, just cut them off. It's going to be a revolving circle. If he wanted to date you, great. And if he comes back and professes his love, I would still proceed with caution, because that might be a reaction to not having you. Chances are, this is not your guy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm assuming that you imagined a relationship that started off with someone knowing that they wanted to be with you. And don't forget that.
Yeah.
You know, stop making excuses for him.
That's so sweet. I like that.
Everybody keeps telling me that.
Yeah.
Well, it's on you
so
now.
I guess I should probably listen.
It's on you. Don't wear that I don't respect myself shirt. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Yes. I was thinking about that. I was like, what are they going to tell me? They're probably going to tell me something about that.
I think you're doing fine.
But,
like, listen, it's
yeah.
You know, these are little nuances of figuring it out, and sometimes you just have to talk through it and hear it. But plenty of fuckboy waiters who are 30 who love to be trainers. Is he still a trainer?
Yes.
Like, not to shit on the, you know, but is this like, in terms of ambition, what would you describe him as in terms of like his?
He's not sure what he wants.
Okay.
And so I don't know that he's super ambitious.
Yeah.
A 30-year-old trainer who doesn't know what they want. Who's hot is not very ambitious. If it was a 30-year-old trainer who had a bunch of plans and this was a means to an end, great. But this is a guy who's just kind of like, I make enough money to buy drinks at a bar and fuck girls and like have a decent apartment, and like, does he have a roommate?
Yes.
Yeah. We know this guy.
Yeah.
Right? He's just a guy.
We know this guy. Yeah. Yep.
And you're the hot 23-year-old he's currently having sex with sometimes, amongst 3 others.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Life is hard.
Maybe so.
This is hard. This is not hard. This is a great learning experience. Like you said, be thankful of the things he did bring value to your life. This is nothing you need to regret. This is nothing but you need to stop.
Right,
Now you need to stop doing, because at this point now it's just creating confusion and stress and making you question your own self-worth, and that's when you need to end it.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for
agree.
calling in.
Time to graduate.
All right.
Yes.
Graduate to 4th grade.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Take care.
Thank y'all. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
It's so funny because I do a lot of improv, and this happens in the improv world all the time. These improv coaches are in their 30s, same situation, and they just
fresh off the boat in LA.
They churn these 23-year-old women out, and they're always like, why won't he like commit to me? And it's like, he's not.
He has another class coming after you graduate. You're going to like 102. He's focused on 101.
Yeah. And anyone his own age is like, this loser. And anyone, younger is like, wow, he's so funny.
And it's probably a little bit of both. Some of them probably call him this loser because they hate him and they know what he's up to. And they would probably fuck him if he wanted,
Yeah, maybe.
And also there's a little bit of both, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not to... in some parts of the world, being a 30-year-old guy is still pretty young and ambitious or pretty young. And then sometimes, but a guy should at least be ambitious. You know, he doesn't have to have it figured out. But if he's just kind of like, yeah, you know, I'm just teaching class.
Right. Yeah.
It's like,
well, it's too easy for them to.
Well, that's the thing. I think. I mean, I've waited tables when I was younger in college, but I had a brother. You know, the thing about waiting tables in the service industry is it's great money.
Yeah.
And when you're younger, it's probably the best way to make the most money.
Yeah.
Right. And the tough part is there's always this part in your mid-20s, if you're like a server, a bartender, or a bottle service girl, whatever, of leaving it and giving up that income because you like want to get away from it and then focus on your career.
Right.
Sometimes people do both, but sometimes you kind of have to, and there's always that group of people who never really leave, right? They like actually quit, like they went to college and they got a degree and maybe they tried a job, but there was a part where like, well, I make more money doing this. So they stuck with it. And the next thing you know, they're 30 and they're like, do they want to keep bartending? Or maybe they're 35 and it's just like, and they kind of get stuck in this very repetitive, redundant life of just being the party boy.
Yeah. There are great careers in the food service
Totally.
industry. That's not what we're saying.
Yeah.
It's just a specific
There's
type
a
of
specific
person.
type of like, kind of like, they're not like getting into management. Like,
Right.
I mean, how long can you split tips for? You know, like it's an absolutely great job. I mean, if you're in college and you can get a bartending serving job and like, if it's a nice second job, your first job out of college, maybe you're not making the money you wanted to make. What, you know, if you're single and you're and you have a full-time job, get a second job. Moonlight as a bartender, you save that money. That's fucking great.
And if you're a young woman in these types of industries, you got to be on high fuckboy alert at all times.
Yes.
Do not let your guard down.
It is definitely like a swamp filled with fuckboys. You really have to know where the landmines are.
Get those antennas up.
It's fun, but filled with fuckboys. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. What's your name?
Katie.
Katie, how old are you?
23.
Katie, 23. How can we help you, Katie?
So my friend is dating a loser, an utter loser.
Okay. Tell us how you really feel, Katie. Okay, your friend's dating a loser. Okay. Tell us more.
They've been dating him 2 years now.
2 years?
3 years.
3 years. Okay.
And it's about marriage and everything. And he's just so disrespectful to me, to her, to all my friends. And I don't know how to handle him anymore.
Well, let's focus on how he treats her. I mean, I'm not saying him being disrespectful to you, the other friends is okay, but she might see things differently. But specifically, what is he doing that you find to be disrespectful to her?
He's just super controlling to her.
Okay.
He requests that he tell him what she's going to wear to go out at night, or if he allows her to go out at all. A couple years ago, we went to a concert and he was pissed because it was just the two of us who went and there were guys there that could look at her.
Okay, well, that's not cool. Have you had, I mean, I'm assuming at some point you've talked to her about this. Is she aware that everyone hates him?
I think so. I mean, every time they get in, I remind her that he's not a good person.
What does she
say? And she's like, but
I love him.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough. I mean, you, correct me if I'm wrong, you haven't actually talked to her about this. You've made comments and you've addressed it when he's upset, but have you really sat her down and had a heart-to-heart with her?
No, I don't think it'd be taken well. I think she'd get defensive.
That's probably true. But, you know, sometimes in these situations, you have to be willing to go there. And you kind of have to be willing to, sometimes being a friend is running the risk of that friend being really mad at you and temporarily maybe cutting you out, you know? You know, because right now it sounds like there's just a lot of like redundancy and Groundhog's Day of the same thing happening over and over. Like she's dating him, he acts up, she gets mad, they fight, you guys all kind of talk shit. She says, but I love him. And then nothing really. And it's just like it's just like over and over and over and over and over and over again. Right. So she is, for whatever reason, she feels trapped and stuck. She thinks she loves him most likely because she doesn't know the difference. I'm assuming this is probably her first serious relationship.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So she just doesn't know the difference. She is what she is equating to love is the comfort and everything they've done before, all the moments they shared, all the experiences. The first person she said she loved, maybe is it the first? Did she lose her virginity to this guy?
No, she didn't.
Okay, so, but yeah, she clearly has him on a pedestal, and then the controlling aspect probably it like doubles down is like, it's kind of fucked up, but it makes her feel almost like there's probably some attachment this style going on there that, I don't know what it is, but I'm guessing based off what we've learned. So I guess my point is that if you really feel this way, if you're really passionate about this and you really feel like you have a dear friend that's running the risk of ending up with the wrong guy, you might need to really take a stand.
Intervention?
Sure. In a way, yes. And I guess sometimes, they're going to be mad at me isn't necessarily an excuse not to do something.
Ooh. That's good.
We kind of joke, right? We had this last caller and, she's asking me questions. She's like, my friends tell me I shouldn't be with him, but they don't really say it like the way you do. And it's because the truth is when people call in, I don't really care. I'm just trying to give you advice and you can be mad at me and I probably will never talk to you again. And your friends are like, they don't want to hurt your feelings and they still don't want to be awkward like a half hour from now when you guys go to the movies and be like, I told you some shit,
Mm-hmm.
And you as and sometimes I've always been this way, but sometimes people confuse friendship, like friendship is not telling people, it's real friendship. Like acquaintances, tell people what they want to hear and say nice things and don't rub people the wrong way. But hopefully people hopefully everyone has some type of friends in your life. And maybe it's only a few. And maybe that friend is also a brother or a sister or a mom or a dad that can really just tell you what it is. And they can be honest with you. And sometimes you'll still get mad and you'll be hurt, but they come correct. And so the best way to do that might be like, I wouldn't like bombard them and have like a whole intervention of a bunch of people, but sit down with them. Maybe it's one other ally. So it's not just you on an island. Someone to kind of validate the behavior that you guys are seeing and just be honest with him. And if it's so bad that he is treating you this way, you can just say, listen, I support you and I love you, but I don't want to be around him because he's offensive to me.
Yeah.
Or he's abusive. And he's verbally abusive to us and he doesn't treat us respect.
She said he smoked in her house.
Yeah, he does.
You asked him not to and he said, I don't care.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so that's okay. So there you go. Like, I'm glad he did that because that's ammunition for you in a sense. Like, you can say to her, listen, fine, if you want to date him, I don't want him in my life. He's toxic. He's doing all these things, and then make her choose. Like
that's a boundary.
And she's gonna choose him at first. And you're probably not saying something because you're probably afraid that's what she's going to do. And I'm going to tell you right now, that's what she's going to do.
Yeah.
But eventually, she might. It's one of those things. She might have to hit rock bottom. She might have to lose her friends, and look back and be like, I've lost all my good friends. So like. Always let her know that you'll be there for her. You don't leave her. You say, I'll always be there for you, but what I'm not okay with is having him being in your life. I'm not okay with X, Y, or Z. I'm not okay with him disrespecting us. He's not welcomed at my place anymore. You are. And just start making it hard for her.
Yes.
But always shower her with love and always shower her with, continue to let her know what she deserves. Don't criticize her. Don't tell her she's, it's a nuance of you don't want to criticize them by saying like don't make them feel dumb for dating the wrong person. Don't make them feel dumb for loving the person they think they love. Try not to be condescending. Just always let them know what they deserve and always let her know that you'll be there for her, but also let her know that he is not welcome and you're never going to ever hang out with them as a couple again. So you have some power there. So pull some punches and not pull some punches, but like insert that power and use some of those tools and resources, just knowing that you have to give up a little bit to get some. What is not going to happen is you're not going to continue to do the same thing and expect a different result, right? Because that never happens. So like kind of complaining and kind of bitching about him from time to time, but still like letting him come over and hang out with him and putting up with his bullshit isn't going to change anything.
I like that. That's actually a way different way to think about it. And I like that idea.
Yeah. Shower her with love. Always let her know you'll be there for her. Let her know you want her in her life, but like make her just decide. And at first she's going to decide him. And listen, the truth is if she completely cuts you out and you're never friends with this person again and she marries him and have kids, well then that's what she chose.
Yeah.
And that's going to be her journey. But That's the only way this is going to get better. And my guess is what will probably happen is you'll have this conversation, you'll do these things, she'll be mad at you, she'll go to him, and she'll kind of push you away and cut you out. Hopefully you have some other friends who feel the same way and are willing to do this together, because that will be unfortunate if you're willing to do this and everyone else is kind of a wuss and they don't. I think you're going to need to band together and say, we love you, but we don't love him, and we're not trying to be. We're concerned for you, and we want to be there for you, but also we don't like being disrespected, you know.
Yeah.
And we're not okay with that, so we're not going to continue like being okay with this behavior. And eventually, I think she'll push you guys away.
Yeah.
She'll lean to him.
Yeah.
But then something will happen, and then she will come back. That might be like 6 months from now, but she'll come back. And when she does, don't say I told you so. Don't like throw it in her face. Just give her a hug and say, we're so glad that we have you, and you deserve so much more, and we can't wait for you to find a guy that you deserve. And that might not, that might not be tomorrow. That might be, some time. It's going to be a process. So
Prodigal friend returns home.
yeah, she's just very stuck, and she just doesn't know the difference. And when people could bitch about their significant other, they want to defend them because they also want to defend their own choices, right? So right now she has to accept that she got herself in a situation that's hard for people to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, but step one is being okay with her being mad at you.
Okay.
Love that.
Thank you.
And it's okay to have boundaries on how he treats you. You can't allow him to treat you like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Being a good
Definitely.
friend is not putting up with the shitty boyfriend. That's not being a good friend.
That's not in the handbook.
Yeah.
Yeah. Trying to bite my tongue long enough, I think.
Yeah. You don't have to bite your tongue, life's about choices, and she has to make hers, but you have to make her make a choice, And it sounds like you are doing it for the right reasons, and you have the right intentions, and this is not some sort of like weird, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yes.
It could be like other variables, or like who knows, but
Yeah.
like you seem like you just care about her, and he sounds like he's kind of a bad dude, and she's not the first person who's been stuck in a relationship like this, so you just have to help her see the light, and the only way to do that is make her change up what you're doing, because right now it's just Groundhog's Day.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right. Well, best of luck. You're
Good
going to be
luck.
great. Yeah, but do that, and I think something's going to happen.
Yes.
Okay.
It's
All right.
time.
Find an ally or two, and then
Yeah. I think I got
and shower her with love, even
Aw.
when she pushes you away.
Okay.
But stand your ground. You can do both at the same time. All right. Take care. Best
Thanks.
of luck.
Bye.
Thanks for calling in. I had an intervention with my friend. All of us girlfriends were like, your boyfriend, this relationship is awful. You need to get out of it. Like we did it intervention style, and she got so mad at us.
Oh, of course.
And now, we're older. She's like, oh, you guys were totally right. Like, thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
But it didn't help, but we tried.
What do you mean it didn't help?
Like, she didn't break up with him because of us. She ended up.
Yeah, but I would argue, but they ended up breaking up, yeah?
Well, she went to Israel on birthright and married an Israeli soldier.
And that was a different guy.
Yeah, but while she was still dating the other guy. Like she,
Yeah, but
overlap.
I guess what I'm saying is, without knowing all the details, I think what you guys did did have an impact.
Maybe.
It didn't feel like in the
Subconsciously.
moment,
Yeah.
but like that's the thing is like when you do that, there's so many I think thoughts and feelings goes into someone's mind.
Right.
You're gonna. It's impossible not to get defensive. You have chosen this
impossible.
person, and everyone else in your life that you value their thoughts and opinions is basically. It almost feels like they're all calling you stupid. It's impossible not to get defensive.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So in the
yeah.
moment, but in the back of her mind, she had probably felt it. She probably knew it
Yeah.
wasn't right, and while it doesn't feel like they're reacting that way, I think
Yeah.
they're all there is that appreciation.
Yeah.
That's not, it doesn't, the reaction. So for her to go to Israel and marry it probably was, she probably felt stuck, and that
She
was her
did.
way of doing it. I
Yeah.
mean, do it for I talk about my first relationship, and we broke up. It was my first love, off and on. And I kind of was stuck. I didn't know how to love anyone else. I didn't know how to get over her. She kept breaking up with me, and I would break up with her. I literally didn't know how to move on because he was all I had. And I had to meet someone else to do it, you know? And sometimes you just need when you feel stuck and you don't know how to love anything or anyone else, you sometimes need a catalyst. And that catalyst often isn't necessarily healthy. Don't marry that person. I mean, I ended up getting engaged to that person and it didn't work out, but like we do that. We need to like a kick in the pants. But I do think you probably helped your friend more than you realize.
Yeah.
And you probably got in her head and you probably gave her the confidence that when she was ready down the line to make that decision, because you all validated what she eventually realized.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what you have to do with some of those situations. Expecting the immediate return is not a reason not to do something. And it's not, I don't think it's a reason to feel like you're doing something wrong. Oh, we shouldn't have done that. When you did that, did you guys...
We kind of did. We're like, that was a bad call.
Yeah, right? And I don't think it was. But I think you have to go in knowing she's going to hate us. She's going to be pissed. She's going to get mad. It's like...
Like, I still remember us where we were standing in the apartment kitchen.
Right?
Like, it was it was like a moment.
In the history of that happening, do you ever think there's been a time where someone's been like, that's a really... Wow.
You guys are right.
You guys are right. Thank you for the feedback. Should we just call him now and break up with him? Like, was that ever happened? Literally, ever?
Yeah.
No, and again, I think it comes down to like, the people, they feel judged as a person.
Yeah.
And even though you're not trying to, there's just no reason there's no way not to do that.
Yeah.
You know?
I love this episode. This was great.
Another fun one.
Yeah. Not crazy stories, but just relatable.
Relatable.
Yes.
Fun. We had a 10%.
I have an exciting update already from our 10%er.
Ooh, bring it on.
A lot of people have been writing and wanting updates. So Brandon emailed me. He said, tell Nick his advice worked. When I got off the call, I immediately called my pen pal and was just straight up. And she said she wants to go out Thursday. Pure genius.
What? Really?
Yeah.
Great.
Just be up front, people.
Yeah. There you go. I think, wow, I'm just so
Wow,
great.
Nick.
I'm just so great.
Saving lives.
Oh, Mike's falling apart. Yeah, I mean, dating apps, state what you want and then move on.
And move on. And if you get rejected, like, brush it off because it happens in dating apps.
It's literally not about you. You have no idea what's going on in their world.
Yes.
Like a million things. It could be other people. It could be other dating apps. It could just be like, they just broke up with their boyfriend, so they panicked and jumped on a dating app.
And they're not ready. Yeah.
And they're totally not ready. You never really know.
And it's not even rejection, really.
It's just, they're just not ready to go on a date with anyone.
Yeah.
So put it out there.
Yeah.
Move forward. Well, good job, Brandon.
Good job, Brandon.
Well, that is some ROI. Return on your investment.
Yeah.
Some quick ROI.
You're looking out for those 10%ers, you know?
Yeah. Well, another great episode, as Rochelle said. We got some feedback. It's been a lot of fun. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, especially if it's Monday and you're listening. As always, once again, we appreciate you telling your friends about us, sharing it on your Instagram, giving us 5-star reviews. Yeah, I think that's it. As always, we love you guys. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.